Hey y'all, it's May the 24th, 2017. I want to holler at y'all real quick. I haven't been making videos lately. Alright, I haven't been very regular with my videos. I gotta explain. My life kind of got pretty chaotic there for a minute. For example, got fired from a job. Now I can say where I was working. I was working at Dickies, right, in Big Spring. Got fired from that job. I'm not going to go too far into that, but the thing is, glad I was fired from Dickies. You know, it was very convenient about that whole matter was the very next day, and I'll probably make a video, describing the fact that the very next day I had someone literally pulling into my driveway and offering me a job. It was very crazy timing. All right, so since then I've been doing some contract work. I've been working on fences. Here's a fence. There's a fence. There's a couple fences that I've been working on and stuff, and getting some money. In fact, I had to admit, making better money than I was making over there at Dickies, from where I got fired from. Alright, so that was a little bit of a transition. I've been doing contract work, and like I've hinted at, it's been long hours. Alright, been pretty much sun up, sundown, and I really couldn't get stuff going. Also, I have sort of a roommate right now, which I don't plan to have long. But here's the thing: I gotta explain to you. Right now, I have something of a roommate. It makes it a little bit harder to do these videos because it kind of throws off the vibe, I guess you would say. I mean, the thing is, where I live is very, very small, and so when you have a roommate there, it kind of throws off the vibe. So I haven't been making videos from out of there. I've been, I just haven't had time. And the thing is, I'm gonna catch up with y'all because there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. There's so much stuff going on that I got a lot of topics to make a lot of different videos. But right now, we're just gonna focus on this one idea, and I hinted at it a while back. Here, I got a project. You know how everybody loves projects. It was right here on this YouTube channel. It's gonna be a project, and I'm announcing it right now. Alright. By the way, we're looking at my garden right here. Well, this is one of my gardens. Alright, and as you can see, it's absolutely popping. I have no complaints at all. You know what I'm saying? And there's this one. First of all, some of the plants are going to have to be culled just because this is going to turn into a jungle within weeks. It's popping off. Lord willing, it is very much popping off to the point where I got another separate garden over there. In the distance, you might be able to see it, just with more plants. And then across the property, way across the property, that's my other garden, my original garden. And please believe it is popping off as well. I'll show you videos of it probably in the next video of the other garden. But right here, we got... I don't know, we got bean plants right here in the middle, and then to the right you got cucumber plants, and then of course in these cages you got tomato plants, and then you got cages with tires. You got shade over it. You're going to notice that's kind of new. I have a swing set in there, and it's making shade, basically. There's all sort of shade. The reason for that is because in Texas, we got a lot of sunshine. Right? Perhaps even too much. Bill Nye is probably worried about the global warming happening in Texas, but the thing is, I got to tell Bill Nye not to worry about it. So I got to cover their shade right there. It's not really affecting me too bad. Also over here, I want to show you this. This is an addition. If you might recall in the other video, there's a watermelon plant. You can see it peeking through the window. This is what I made this. It's a watermelon house. Alright. You might think, well, why does watermelons need houses? Because, you know what I'm saying, the birds love to come, and they'll poke holes in your dang watermelons, alright? And then your watermelons are no good for nothing. So that's why I gave it a nice little house. And of course it gets sunlight from the top, and that's my watermelon plant going. And like I said, tomato plants right here. Those are eggplants, there's some more pickling cucumber plants. We got pepper plants. Just popping off. It's all popping off on plants right now. There's an okra plant over there. You really can't see it. And there's squash plants all the way on that back wall over there. Anyway, so strawberry plants, and I wonder how that's going to come out. We got a lot of stuff going here. Alright, that's what I'll explain. There's onions and stuff because I like green onions. Peppered here and there. I don't know if you can see them. They're still pretty little. But here, like I said, we're here today because I wanted to announce. It's been a long time coming, actually. It's time for me to announce my second project. And I have to let you know how I got the idea for this second project. I have a friend out there in the internet world. And, she was saying the other day, because she was contemplating the whole, was it Caitlin Nicole Davis, Matthew Reed situation. That whole where the little girl, she committed suicide on the internet. All right, and she's talking about all the people involved, and she wants to bring people to justice, and she really wants justice. And of course, on this channel, we're always seeking justice. And so, found that very interesting. But she said this, it's very easy to be sympathetic with a Matthew Reed, and I would agree. It's very easy, but that's probably not acceptable at the same time. And I'm gonna let you know why I think that it's also not very acceptable. The reason is because it seems to be very one-sided in the blame game area. I want to let you know, as far as Matthew Reed goes, and I know other people who will tell you the same exact story. Their old ladies were absolute slut hoes, and they ran around and did this and that, and they just only thought about themselves. Right, that's always how the story goes. And you know what? I have to imagine that a lot of times that is exactly the case. At the same time, it's very disappointing for a father who's estranged from his daughter to hear him badmouth his wife in such a way. It is disappointing just because there's not very much responsibility to it. The man doesn't hold on to responsibility. At the end of the day, my friend on the internet is talking about she doesn't really accept that Matthew Reed did not try harder to be in Caitlin Nicole's life. Alright, she's real upset by it, so he didn't try harder. And now she's gone, there's nothing we can do about it. But she's upset that he didn't try harder. And the thing is, that got me to thinking. I got a little bit inspired by that. Really inspired by that, because here's the thing. Me personally, in my situation, this all comes full circle. But in my particular situation, I've done a lot of things. A whole heap of things. Try to see my daughter, who's estranged from me. I mean, this is countless times is this happening in our nation, and it's an absolute crisis. That daughters are growing up without fathers. Sons are growing up without fathers. Certain sons are growing up without fathers and mothers. And, every situation you could think of, children are not being given what they deserve. I think that's what we all can agree on. Right? So, with that being said, it's like that kind of, first of all, I differentiate, me personally, from the people who I heard their stories about their terrible wives, to include a Matthew Reed. I personally differentiate from all that, because I really can't say any of these bad things about my wife in particular. You know what I'm saying? Nor would I think that it would be smart to do so. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't benefit me in any kind of way. To bad my wife, it wouldn't make any sense. Alright? So, that being all said, me personally, although I've tried many ways, texting, calling, talking to different relatives, asking them, like, hey, could I see my daughter? None of it's worked at this point. Alright? It doesn't mean that I can't personally try harder and do something else. Alright? That's not the end of my rope necessarily. Alright? So, in comes project number 2. Alright? You've heard of project number 1 is where we make it rain. We make it rain dollars. Project number 2 is this. Alright? And I gotta just mention that this garden is part of project number 2 in a sense, because here's the thing. Project number 2, it's gonna go like this. Not only am I gonna make this a beautiful garden, which will basically take care of itself, alright, and many other gardens, which will provide all sort of food and stuff. Not only that, but I do have to mention, in case you don't know, that behind this bunkhouse and this shed and stuff, there's about an acre of property that I live on, and I gotta let you know, it's wondrous. I'm not really just exaggerating that. It's actually a crazy, insane, crazy place, basically. Just briefly, I have to describe to y'all that. It's basically, and you can see machinery. You see that white truck, that tractor, this big old thing, this big old tower? It's filled with all sort of stuff, alright? This stuff's been doing nothing for a long, long time. Alright, just sitting there. And it's all over this property. It's a very wondrous property. So it's got all sort of, little sheds and trailers and all sort of things to get into. What I mean to say is this. I live on a pretty decent place. When you think about it, a young girl, these days, how could she not find all sort of fun in this big, I know you can't see the property, it's behind these buildings, but there's all sort of buildings, trailers, all sort of cool stuff to get into. That is real nice. And then you consider that there's a nice garden. Alright, and a child can learn how to garden and stuff just by hanging around this. Alright, can feed herself maybe. The thing is, what I'm trying to get at is this is a pretty nice place to visit. Alright, it really is a very relaxing place once you get used to it. Here in Big Spring, Texas, West Texas, right here in the desert, we're going big old plants. Alright, we're balling out of control. Project number 2 is going to have a lot of different facets to it. And that what I'm creating here is a very nice environment for a child to want to play. Right there is a trampoline, a big old trampoline. And there's all sort of fun things to do here. Alright, not only that, I'm having a hand in, pretty much landscaping and taking care of all. Because like I said, there's so many things there's so much machinery here. There's so much, when you think about it, garbage laying here and there and stuff. Someone has to keep it up, all right? Basically, that's what I do. All right, and I'm going to have various videos covering Project 2 and where I'm going to be clearing out big old trailers. I'm going to be doing some remodeling and this and that and working on stuff, building fences and doing, you know what I'm saying, all sort of, you'll be able to keep up with it because there'll be all sort of videos pertaining to Project number 2. And in that, this place is going to be a very, very nice place for a child to want to come and play at. All right, so that's facet number 1. Project number 2 is I'm creating a space for my daughter or anyone's little kid if they wanted to come, but not especially my daughter. She would be able to come here and have the time of her life. All right, when you think about it. All right, so that's facet number 1. And facet number 2, and I'll be updating y'all on this, is I gotta let y'all know my personality and from where I come from as far as money goes. I've never had a savings account in my life at all. I've never been able to save no kind of money. I've never had enough money to do that, but here's the thing. Part of Project number 2 will be a money-saving adventure, and I'll let y'all know about the updates as far as how much money I can get saved up. Here's the idea that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save up on top of child support, which, you know, I'll gladly pay. You know, you know what I'm saying? There's no problem with me paying the child support. Thing is, I don't think child support is necessary or a good thing. But at the same time, I'll pay child support and I'll save up a grand total of $500. Now, I got to let y'all know, I haven't never been able to save up nothing in my life. My bills just won't allow for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrimp and scrape and get something together, and I'm going to get $500, right? And once I save up $500, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everybody I know, every relative that I know of mine or Ashley's, which would that be my wife, I'll let them all know, you know what, $500 says, could I get a visit from my daughter? I would want her to come out here to see this place because it's a beautiful place, wondrous place. And I think she would enjoy it a lot. And also, I have $500. That's not to say it's like ransom money or anything. I'm just saying, if my wife were to bring my daughter down to visit me, she would probably have to take a day or two off of work. That would be money out of her pocket, and that's not acceptable. I'm willing to pay for that money. It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive here to Big Spring. She can check it out, and you know what I'm saying? It'll all just make sense, all right? Because you know what I'm saying? It'll be able to pay for food and gas and getting off of work. 500 big ones. First time in my life that I'll be able to save up and put aside $500 for something that I didn't, you know, need to pay like a bill or something like that. Right? So I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, while I'm gathering the $500, and it's going to probably take about a few weeks. It's going to become like a series on this channel real quick. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'll be fixing up this place, making it look crazy good, making plants pop off, and all sort of vegetation. And I'll be making some, you know what I'm saying, just cool places for a child to come and hang out and just chill out and relax here in the country, here in Big Spring, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'll have to holler at y'all later and stuff. There is some stuff that we have to talk about real soon. Including making it rain. We're going to be making it rain tonight, alright, because I got that money, baby, and I'll have to holler at y'all in a second. So I'll holler at y'all.